The world wears everywhere the marks of its own history, a history of slow or cataclysmic change. Today, in certain regions of the earth, lie vestiges of the great winter. In the glacial fjords of Alaska, we still may read the laws and movements of the mysterious ice. Behind these formations of ice, white, blue-green, and deepest blue, behind this vast wall of frozen water, lie the cold secrets that govern the action of ice. This moving element that alters the shape of land and water still turns its powerful course in these glaciers. 300 feet high, monuments of living ice. What heavy forces drew this mass downward? What is the life history of the glacier? What source nourished these frozen cliffs? Far above, in the peaks that stand inside the sky, we find the birthplace of the glacier. Here the cold walls of rock freeze into snow the moist and heavy winds rolling inward from the ocean. Here the glacier begins. Here is continual wind and mist and avalanche and daily snowstorm. Of snow, millions of tons packed down into a field of silence, the birthplace of the glacier. The grains of snow turn slowly into ice underneath. Layers of snowstorm feed the stream of twisted ice. Partly melted at noon and frozen at sunset, the newly formed ice bends slowly over the uneven valley floor and breaks. A great crack opens, a crevasse. In this way, the glacier splits and grinds over stony obstacles underneath. It is cracked, wrenched, broken into 100-foot pinnacles. But slowly, these frozen streams converge into a river of ice. A river in slow motion, crushing forward a few feet a day. Three miles wide and 1,000 feet deep, the glacier spreads in a delta of ice and forms at the edge of the water a precipice 300 feet high, descended from snowflakes fallen more than a century ago in the snowfields of the distant mountains. This mass of ice, having deepened and shaped the valley through which it descended, meets at last the melting tides of the Pacific. The snowfield lies above, the ocean below. So the cliff is a line of balance, where the forms of water struggle, solid against liquid, ice against wave. The moving waters undermine the moving cliff. It is the death of the glacier. growth of the glacier depend on the smallest changes of annual temperature. All the glaciers, ice caps, billions of frozen tons rest on delicate shifts of wind and climate. If all the world's ice should melt and pour into the sea, the heavy oceans would lift up 100 feet and drown the shores of the continents. And what if the balance shifted toward the cold? What if man had to face a drop of annual temperature, even by a few degrees? Would he be helpless as a new ice age grew year by year, crushing with its cold flood his wheat fields and his cities? Living on the surface of the earth, man's life hangs in this colossal balance of air, sun, ice, and water. This is his world. Therefore he matches his brain against the changing mountains, slowly learning to control the blind movement of nature and the earth.